with the exception of our beloved Valerie, who was unable to make it today, and Christine. And Christine's been a loyal member of our board for many years, and she's now retiring. So her absence is not surprising, but we miss her and thank her for her service. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I would second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Fabulous. And I did it a little out of order, but we have accepted the resignation of Christine Ryan, and once again, I mentioned that we appreciate her. Director report, please, madam.
Yes. Well, we're still waiting to hear from Grand River Brewery, which is going to be going into 1 East 14 Mile on whether or not they got their licensing from Michigan Liquor Control Commission. Nuri Chicken has their license. They purchased a Class C liquor license. Still waiting for their dining room to open. Building permits were issued for 38 South Main, which is the former Moose, former Lucky Duck. They're in there doing interior work. In and around the downtown, there are still other ongoing construction projects. Broadway Square is continuing to complete apartment units at the Clausonian. 400 South Main has a current building permit, and that is potentially a local brewery location. 76 to 48 West 14 Mile, which is the former Limbs, has current building permit. I think it appears that work has stalled for a little while. 516 North Main is the townhome development right adjacent to the DDA here by the library, and it looks like it's pretty well framed out. You can see the building now. It's looking pretty good. And Clausen Manor continues to improve. On Main Street, the Clausen DDA did complete the application for the revitalization and placemaking called RAP grant. It's been submitted to the Michigan Economic Development Corp as part of the Main Street Oakland County submission packet that included a collective of Oakland County Main Street communities. All of the applications from about, I think it was 10 communities, were put together in one packet and sent to the MEDC. Oakland County included ARPA funds, county ARPA funds towards the admission submission packet. So that is that much more money to the project. So we're hoping MEDC will look pretty favorably on submission and grant it. We won't know until late fall, I believe, before they're done reviewing everything from around the state. Our application was for parking lot improvements, the southeast municipal lot, including market sheds, which are visioned on the downtown master plan. Grant follow-ups, the Oakland County Sustainability Grant. The plantings are in place in the islands. They are all native plants, but they are small seedlings, so it doesn't look like a lot this year, but they're going to grow. We'll see the full impact next year. On the Main Street Oakland County Flag Star Bank grant, in addition to the new banners, the grant included planters, which are now in place at the Four Corners, and they are planted thanks to design committee volunteers Kathy Phillips and Carol McLean. So they look pretty nice. If you've seen them,
They look terrific.
Noticeable. Yeah. On the Main Street technical visit funds, for last year, the funds got the new trash containers in addition to, which we got in addition to sponsorship dollars. So we want to thank the grant and business sponsorship, and sponsor tags are being created by Mr. Weiss to put on the containers. The alley artwork included in the funding will be installed hopefully within the next week. It is done. It has been cut in half. It is painted, and it's ready to move. For this year's tech visit, the funds were allocated to the downtown master plan. And last week, Giffords had a whole team here. I think we had about 8 or 9 people from their office. And we all went out looking, I went with them. We divided into groups looking at signage, looking at streetscape, looking at building facades. Every group had something different that they were evaluating. And that will all be brought out and to us and then to the public as part of the process. There'll be public meetings to review the findings and add public input before the new master plan is done. And I believe that's it.
That's pretty good. When's the movie?
Oh, the movie is the 29th of July. We just
Rescheduled.
rescheduled.
Yeah.
Yes,
Same movie.
yes.
Yeah, late that afternoon, I thought Joan had made a mistake. It was beautiful, it was gorgeous, and then it wasn't. And we realized she was absolutely right. We would have drowned all the little children. It would have been horrible. We do not have a city manager with us today, so do you have anything that the city mayor?
I don't speak on behalf of the city manager, so I will say no.
Okay. How about events and Dine Clausen, sir?
All right. So we got karaoke reconfirmed for the 29th, so we will have karaoke. And then pretty much all the other stuff for the cinema in the streets. And then pretty much right now is just the ramp up to getting Clausen Fest going. We're sending out emails this week and next on all the food vendors that are going to participate and getting everybody in line with that. And looking pretty good. We have 85 vendor spots. I don't know if we filled all of those, but it's getting pretty close to that. So the Shawns have been doing an awesome job.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, they do.
Yeah. And that's all.
Okay. I think you've caught us up to date on the alley.
I think we're up to date. I guess there is something else on the alley, and that is the alley, thankfully, is very popular. And the 2 garbage containers that are there are really not enough. So we're kind of evaluating that. Brian Piper, who works for Dennis there, is his all-around go-to person, has been emptying out the 1 can a couple times a week. So, and we found that the placement of them was kind of imperative because these are inside the container. That lid on that rolly cart is open. So it can't be too close to their building because it does attract some fruit flies that then were sucked into the exhaust in the building. So we're kind of evaluating what we want to do in that spot, whether 2 containers would be enough, and then they would only need to be emptied out once a week when Tringali does it. So we may be purchasing 1 or 2 more garbage containers. So again, we're lucky that people are going over there and eating. We need to make sure that we don't have a problem. That's it.
Who's purchasing the containers?
Well, these we would purchase as the DDA, unless somebody else wants to sponsor more containers. But
Do we have any containers that are underutilized that we could move over there?
I don't know. I think we're still just kind of looking at everything to see what's being used. Probably the one on the far west side is probably not used as much. I don't think you get as much food out that way in front of by Washington. But do you want a rolly cart sitting out there? I mean, that's the other thing. It's part of how we want the streetscape to look.
I don't know,
I don't think so. I think where we've got them placed, Charlie and I walked around and looked at everything pretty well, where they need to be at exits to the social district. And
If there is one that's underutilized, we can use that. Otherwise, I'll buy another one. Then we're good.
okay, we can talk about it. We'll figure it out. Like I
Okay.
said, still kind of looking. It's only been 2 weeks, so we're still kind of figuring out what is needed in that alley. Just to
They are
make
very
sure.
popular trash cans, though. So good job, everyone.
it's very exciting to see that our trash cans are doing their job successfully.
Yeah, and the alley's successful, which is nice. So now we just make sure we can keep it clean.
Okay. Landscaping and streetscape. I think you covered that too.
I think we did. I don't think there's anything different on streetscape.
Okay, let's move on to the review of last year's work plan and consideration of this year's work plan.
So you got the work plan, the infographic that we kind of used for a quick reference, and it is okay if things carry over to next year. These aren't just a list of tasks that need to be chopped off. Some of them are ongoing and will continue to be that way. On outreach, we still need to, and Charlie, maybe you and I can get together and do that one sheet, including some of that information that Oakland County put together on where our business reach is,
Yeah.
to put that packet together so we can get that going. That I think that's a imperative this year. The business directory, that is going to still just be something we maintain. Social media reach, I guess I do want to point out that our Facebook page was hacked, and it's been down since July 3rd. So countless hours and telephone calls with and emails to Facebook trying to get it straightened out. And every time I think I made progress, they send me an email back that is an address that you can't respond to and says, oh, we don't see a problem. Or we fixed it. And then I go to try to get on and no, it's not fixed. So
Joan, you might talk to Jonathan, because we went through a similar problem, and he struggled with it for quite a long time with Leona Lulu's Facebook, so he might have some suggestions for you.
okay, yeah, anybody, because I just keep going in a loop. And it's frustrating.
Okay.
I think promotion, this is pretty much where we are with promotion. That is just going to carry over unless there's something that you all see needs to be added there. Again, we've got for the marketing strategies, we do have that information from Oakland County, and we will keep working with them and update, as needed.
Questions, anyone? Comments, thoughts?
I have a question. For outreach, I think we talked about like ads in the past, like very briefly. Was there any more thought to that, or? Like kinda
I guess
promoting-
I'd explain.
I guess promoting like what Clausen has to offer, like the free parking, like doing an ad blitz, like get a video made, start sharing it. I think we have some email lists and stuff that have been built up, like we can do retargeting ads with that. I don't know.
Are you
Just
talking
one-
about Facebook advertising?
I mean,
or
it can
what?
be anything, Google, Facebook, you can retarget anything, Instagram.
I think we should look at it. Do you want to try to put something together?
Yeah, what do you need, like a one pager or? Okay,
Yeah, just so, and then we'll, set up a work plan, and
okay.
that'll just be a note under, we don't need to lay out every work plan on here, just kind of the general ideas, but yeah, we need to put something together, that'd be great. And we do have some print material, I'll give you that after the meeting.
Okay.
Did you include in your plan for the upcoming year a survey to all of the people within the DDA, businesses, residents, anybody who pays into that fund, something that would denote their engagement, satisfaction, goals, what they would like to see? Because I think you guys do an exceptional job, or I can say we because I'm on the board. We do an exceptional job of promoting certain activities, but I believe that there's an untapped group out there that is part of this entity that doesn't feel that they're equally represented. And I know that in the type of activities you generally plan, it's inclusive of, restaurants and retail in that area, and perhaps not so much of other businesses, but
Could you be a little more specific?
Yeah, I would like to see a survey to all members of the.
No, I'm sorry, who feels,
I speak to people a lot. I know you speak to people a lot too. When you're in like groups, you get likeness. When you're outside of the like group, you hear just concerns. And I'm not saying there's anything dastardly out there where people are saying this is bad or whatever. But I think just in any organization, it's always good to tap your customer, and the DDA members, the DDA group is our customer, ultimately, just to see what their satisfaction level is. And perhaps there are some ideas for activities, fundraising, opportunities just to bring people together that we're not looking at right now. And it would be extremely.
I'm sorry, I was
simple.
just trying to figure out if you could give me an idea of who feels disenfranchised.
I mean, I can give you a list. I wouldn't do it here.
Okay.
Yeah. And I probably wouldn't do it. I don't think that's professional. But I would say, and I don't think I don't think it'll be horrible. I just think we shouldn't be afraid of asking
We
questions.
can have, we've had a number of focus groups and we've sent out questionnaires, but we can certainly do it again.
Yeah, I don't know when the last time it was done. So that would have been part of my question. This is not a criticism at all. It is an opportunity for improvement and to be inclusive of all of the DDA participants. And I understand volunteerism is difficult, right? You get the same people who want to volunteer over and over again, and sometimes others don't engage because they don't think there's opportunity for them. They may not feel like they're welcomed, and I'm not saying that's because of anything here, that's just in general for volunteerism. So just always looking at ways to kind of capture better ways to do what we do. And you guys are exceptional at what you do. The activities you plan are exceptional every year. Attendance shows it. Your
Right, and it's
constant
not just
ability
about-
to support yourselves shows it. But there are people outside of there, in this group, that are not represented here and are not those, 8 businesses that are constantly involved. And I just think we're cutting ourselves short to not engage others and perhaps come up with some other ideas for some opportunities to do different things. And I am not on a board I do not serve on any subcommittee or committee, and I do believe that one of the requirements is that everyone on the board serve on something. So I will happily volunteer to serve with us and help create a survey of some sort that goes out. And I
Great.
don't know how you've done it in the past, how you want to do it. Like, I'm just talking general, but I really just would like people to feel engaged. And then I would also like to know if there can be a plan to also include outside of the DDA for certain things so that we can kind of stretch our downtown a little bit. And I know that would involve some conversation too. And I know it's been said at various points, but I think that's something we need to capitalize on to move the look of our downtown down past your place, right? Because you guys are kind of the end there. Or
Well,
you're a little
that's
bit
something
further,
that we
but-
could talk to the city if they would like to do. We can't spend money that way.
No, and I'm not asking you to spend money. I'm just asking have an engagement.
Oh, we
kind of just
absolutely-
We've done
stretch
that.
And make it look.
That's part of our Downtown Neighbors program and trying to engage the people on the periphery. It's sticky because our mandate ends at the dead Burger King or, all the different, we're not allowed to promote anything outside it. And for a while, there was an issue with even being inclusive with our neighbors, but we have, I believe, bested that. And we try very hard to bring more people into downtown for our events and so forth. So that is a valid point, and that's something that we've certainly worked on and would like to make Little Tiny Clawson look bigger.
Yeah, over 4th of July, I just happened to be around a couple of business owners down closer to 14 Mile Road. And that was one of their concerns, was like, how do we join together? And I know there are restraints, right, that you can and can't do as part of the body, but as a bigger picture, there are things that we can do. And I'm just asking, could that be on the agenda for the upcoming year, to look at ways to broaden that with
Sure.
your neighbors program? You're already doing it, right? But to actively pursue that. And it might just start with a few businesses at a time, who then spread around them. But
Perhaps
there
you
are
might suggest to
opportunities.
those businesses that they join us at some of these meetings or volunteer on some of the events, which would be a great way to get their engagement.
Right, and we do invite people to
Because we
take part in
invite them,
events.
yeah, every time we have booths and whatever, we invite all the neighboring businesses to come to the core district. So we're happy to do anything to engage them, but the response when we have attempted to do so has been minimal.
Well, sometimes you just have to try again. And I get the.
So tell them to come to a meeting and tell them to get in touch with us, anybody who's interested, because we are very welcoming. We'd like to have the whole city involved.
Okay, duly noted.
Okay. Anything else? Consideration of election of officers. Is it time to vote?
I think I'm just finishing on the upcoming work plans.
Oh, sorry.
Under planning, we still need to work on on parking, and mostly the parking lots and what can be done with them. Hopefully, we get the grant for the southeast lot. But dumpster enclosures are a major thing. The parking lots need to be restriped. A lot of things need to happen with there, and that's all going to be, I think, coordinated with the city. But Jeff was going to try to look at a new plan for the lot by the ACE development to see how that enclosure could be changed. So we got to start making some small steps and presenting those. The public amenity process policy, that's something Valerie was working on, and more it's a public art policy. And then we now do have going to need to set aside money for landscaping and making sure that we keep things going there. Also, under the planning side will be the update to the master plan.
I know we did get rid of the recyclable boxes and that from Sacra and just put everything in the dumpsters. Have we got any feedback from any businesses?
They're not gone everywhere. The rolly carts, the ones that say recycles, they're still in the southwest lot.
Okay.
They're not in the northeast lot any
right,
longer
right,
because
which
that
was
was
a
messy.
big issue. It's a mess, probably still is, but is there improvement? Have you heard or?
No, and I talked to the guys picking up the cardboard this week when they were in one of the parking lots, and they've got complaints.
Sure.
They're at least they were cleaning up the ground somewhat, which I thought was nice because that Tringali doesn't typically do that.
Right.
But we don't have a good solution, and that's one of the things we need to look at. I know in the lot on the southwest lot, looking at taking that recycle dumpster and moving it to a different place in the parking lot, further to the west, where there's a wall around the parking lot. It does abut a residential property at the back of that property, but again, it's cardboard. It's not something that has food waste in it. So, and it would probably be good to move the cardboard away from where the dumpster is that gets food, because then they won't get mixed up.
Those
And we can-
dumpsters getting empty every day or every other day?
About every other day.
Every other?
Yeah, roughly.
If we move the recycle one out of that one lot, we can get another waste dumpster in there, so that will help.
Yeah, that,
Our biggest issue is on basically Friday, Saturday, Sunday. By
Right.
the time we hit Sunday, I'm
Right.
playing Jenga.
yeah,
And then Monday morning, I'm shoveling garbage.
right, so,
So at
Yeah.
least I think we got a partial solution there for now. We still need a bigger container, a bigger enclosure in the northeast lot, and then there are two lots that don't even have an enclosure. So
right.
all things, those are being included in the new master plan. So I think we'll probably wait on those, since they don't really appear to be too much of a problem at this time.
Okay,
So we have some things to strive for in the upcoming year.
Okay. Can we move on to consideration of election of officers? Or
It's time, yep.
is it time to vote?
I think we need some nominations.
Okay.
I nominate Mary Liz for chair.
I nominate Charlie Sampson for vice chair.
I nominate Sam for secretary.
Okay.
And Valerie has been treasurer. I think she would be fine with keeping that unless somebody else is interested.
I nominate Valerie for treasurer.
I thought you were standing up to volunteer there. Okay, shall we have a vote?
I think if you just want to take that slate and vote, Charlie, are you willing to accept vice chair?
Yeah.
Okay. Then,
Okay, let's have a vote on, somebody want to make a proposal, please?
I make a motion that we nominate Mary Liz Curtin as the chair. I make a nomination that we nominate Charlie Sampson as the vice chair. I make a nomination that we nominate Sam Gill as our secretary, and that Valerie Glander be the nominee for treasurer
Is there a
for the
second on
upcoming
that?
year.
I second.
All in favor of this radically different slate of officers?
Aye.
Not
Anyone
that
against?
radically different.
What?
Not that radically different.
Okay, I believe that we have made one small change, and the Board of Directors is now, as the mayor stated. Terrific. Any comments from the board?
I know I mention this almost every month. That crossing on the west side
thank you, yes.
still seems like nothing's getting done.
Right, I forgot to add that to the update. The Oakland County came and looked at the site. The signal in the pedestrian island was hit a few months ago, and the foundation needs repair. So that has to be done before the signal work is done. And there was a little bit of confusion among administration who thought, oh, maybe we don't need it, and maybe the money could go elsewhere, and it can't, and it is for this, and so it does have the endorsement. We have letters of support that went in with the application that Padma Kupa put in the bill, the appropriations for this work. And we do have letters of support from Oakland County Road Commission and from SEMCOG. So we're fine, it's gonna move forward. But that little glitch there in getting the foundation fixed, so that needs to go first. And then again, it won't be too much of a project since all the conduit and everything is there. It's just changing out the hardware, the poles, to the new ones.
Any time set on that? How long will that take?
I don't have that. We have a development team meeting later today, and I will ask Mike Smith from AEW where that is going.
Okey-doke.
Okay.
Do we
And what-
have any guarantees from any of the landscapers that has planted things around? Because I sent you
You sent
pictures
me,
earlier
yeah.
this week. The grass that's already been planted in front of our store is dead. And that's new. They just put that in.
Yeah. I sent an email last night to the
Okay.
landscaper asking him what
Okay.
can be done with that. And then.
Because we paid for that and it's
Right, and I
not even
think.
2 months and it's gone, so.
Yeah, and I don't see that I think that might be something where we're gonna have to ask businesses to try and put some water on that occasionally, because DPW, I'm pretty sure, is not gonna send out the gator
Okay.
for one bit, but maybe if together we figure out how much, and
Not a problem.
once they get established.
know.
Right, and that's what I asked him.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I should hear back from him today, if not, I'll give him a call.
And the mulch is gone because we had a big rain.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I will, I'll let you know as soon as I hear from,
Okay.
We should probably talk to all the people who have plantings in front of their businesses and see if we can get everybody to do some watering. Because with this heat, things are just not able to survive on a normal watering schedule.
yeah. Salon OG, they've taken care of watering the flowers in the planters in the alley. The new pots that are there only need to be filled, I think, once a week. Kathy's really been the point person on that, so they should be okay. But we'll keep an eye on it.
Okay.
And other than that, the grasses, now, once they get established, and some of them aren't nice and quite high, should be fine.
I'm just concerned about the beginning part.
Yes.
Because temperatures have been so fierce that I think that they need a watering schedule that's a little more aggressive than the DPW can provide. And it couldn't hurt.
I think I have to talk to them about the ones in the pedestrian islands. Oakland County got that planted. They watered for the first week, and then kind of left us with no instruction. So I have to get a hold of them.
Hey,
and
could I
find
just
out.
mention how happy I am we don't have baskets this year?
You're probably one of the few people who are happy that
What?
we don't have baskets.
Well, if they saw what they were likely to be looking like by now, I think that more people would be happy.
So I think in the beginning, when they're beautiful, everyone's happy. I know in the end, when they're scraggly, they look horrible.
Right.
But people like the idea of fresh and new, you know,
Oh,
so.
I agree. We all do.
We all
I-
agree.
No,
with
that's
that.
what I'm saying. I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying, we all like the fresh flowers, but yeah, you have to be able to maintain them, which has been talked about ad nauseum here.
Right. Dead flowers are not pretty.
Totally. Okay, we have guests today. Do we have any comment from the public?
We think we do want to introduce Scott. Scott is interested. Scott Brown is from Zioli's. He has turned in an application to be on the board. So,
All right.
Cool, Scott.
What does she know about you?
Well, we're delighted to have your application submitted, and as you know, the city council makes the decisions, or the mayor appoints and the city council anoints, right?
it's one of, yeah.
And
Yeah.
last night, we finally solidified our planning process for appointments and reappointments. So in the near future, we'll be addressing the appointments and the reappointments for all the boards and commissions. So you'll hear from us soon.
Well, Scott, you've been a wonderful volunteer, and you're a great member of the community, so we hope to welcome you to this esteemed board soon.
Yes.
Sure, speak from here.
Public
Just why don't you
comment.
come up to the microphone, please, and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Carson, local resident, lived here my whole life. Love it here, it's great. Been watching it over the past couple of years, looks wonderful. From the DDA master plan, that was last 2016, right? There were 8 mentions of insufficient lighting in the city in pedestrian areas and how it could potentially at night be a safety concern, or how it makes sidewalks blend in with buildings and sometimes giving stark hardscaping. Was there any current plan to address that?
I'm sorry.
Not at this moment.
Thank you.
No, did you,
I'm sorry, did you want to tell us what, we
Yeah.
don't have a plan, it's not that we're opposed to one, we just don't have anything in the works.
Sure. I know it can be complicated to try and get in there and deal with electrical on top of dealing with hardscape at times. We were looking at approaching the city with a lower cost solution that's going to be more straightforward. That would be a paver that is self-illuminating, no electronics, it's all powered by the sun. It looks very sparkly, it lights up at night. We've even done small business with Disney World too. They love the magical feeling of the product. So I have samples with me. I would just like to talk to someone later.
We like sparkle.
yeah, be happy to talk to you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. There's a lot of stuff we don't have plans for that we'd like to have plans for.
I just noticed it was mentioned so many times in the master plan. Just curious.
Okay, have I missed anything with anyone? Do we have a motion to adjourn at 8:34?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for being here this morning, and have a lovely July and August. See you next month.